This is Jackie Jones from In Your Head.
And Bill Apter, and we'll see you at the matches.
All right, this is the internet icon, handsome Jackie Jones, and I'm here with Arn Anderson, one of my all-time favorites, at the New England Pro Wrestling Fanfest. Very cool to talk to you.
Did you get that hat from one of my earliest pictures or something? I used to wear hats.
I know you did. It is very inspiring. I think.
Does it piss people off that you as bad as it did me?
People don't like the fedora.
No, they don't. The hats don't get over with the shit, do they?
No, I kind of like that though. I'm sure you did too.
That's why I did it?
Right, yeah.
People don't get it. My wife used to go, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she goes, why are you wearing that stupid ass hat? It's making you mad. How many tickets you going to sell?
Right, yeah. And is that hard to explain, not just your wife, but other people, like the idea of
after they hear it, they go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't actually put that on and went, yeah, that looks good.
Right. Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, no, I thought it looked fantastic.
Okay. Well, hey, we can agree to disagree, right?
Exactly.
It's a wrestling business, right?
That's very true.
Okay.
So this is New England. You wrestled, a lot in the Carolinas, and then also you wrestled in New England. What's the differences in the areas? Or are there?
I've wrestled everywhere.
Yeah.
More so down south, East Coast from Philadelphia down.
Mm-hmm.
But wrestling fans are pretty much the same all over. Some are harder than others. The New York area are more demanding. If they don't see something they like, they just don't say anything. Down south, they're a little more agreeable as long as the product is good. It's on us as performers to elicit a response. If we're not doing the right things, then we need to change it up and do something else.
Yeah. Now, someone who's also worked as an agent for a long time, when you see young people, and obviously the wrestling business evolves to a certain degree, but you also want to. So how do you work with that? How do you work with knowing that things evolve, so things have to change, but also keeping foundation for wrestling?
It's a good question, and sometimes it's a hard blend. The hardest thing to do is if you got a racehorse, you got a thoroughbred, let them run. The problem is if you started out with 8 minutes and you got these two young thoroughbreds with a plan, and suddenly you're down because the match before yours ran over, you're down to 5 minutes. It's real hard for a lot of these young guys to adjust because they don't have enough experience. You know what I mean? They're put on that main roster sometimes too soon, and they're not able to adjust and do their storytelling. You take 3 minutes out of a match, that's a lot today. Back in the day, we had 20, 25 minutes every time we went through the curtain.
Yeah.
And just to be perfectly honest with you, it's a lot easier to get your story told if you have more time.
Yeah. So AEW, you're working for AEW. What was the last show like, and what are you looking forward to the future?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in the wrestling business now and you're not excited about what's going on, it's fresh, it's new. I happened to be in the green room with some of their talent the day before the show with doing my StarCast stuff.
Yeah.
And man, it felt good to see that buzz and see people excited and see guys talking and sitting on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that in a long, long time. And they single-handedly have refurbished the feeling, I think, of fans and talent and everybody that's involved in the business, guys like you and I.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think it's done something that no one else has been able to do, to really capture the social media to mean something, as opposed to just we have a bunch of people following us on Twitter or whatever. Because without TV, it's done really, sold out arenas. It's done very well on pay-per-view. And now it's going to TV.
Yeah, and something that just popped into my head that on none of these interviews have I taken the time to do, and that's pretty stupid out of me, but the ones that have made this all possible? Khan family. No one has given them a pat on the back because the gentleman funding this is very successful in life. He has put some competitive, strong numbers out there on hiring his talent, hiring his staff. Suddenly, they're to be taken serious, very serious. It's never happened before. There's been rumblings here, and there are a lot of great companies. You know, I think ROH is a solid company. There's solid independent companies around that are stable, but they've not been in a position to compete with WWE. Now they have competition. As long as AEW doesn't try to compete and do anything similar to what they do. Be their own product, be fresh, do what they want to do, take their time and build their stars. And they'll be fine.
At the show, how when you're watching the back and you saw the Dustin Cody Rhodes match, because me as a fan, I thought it was one of the best matches I've seen in modern time.
You know why? The story was great.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that misses.
So much emotion.
Yeah, when you don't have enough time to have a match, much less tell a story, that's what happens. Fans follow the story. You know, and if you don't have time to tell the story, it's great to go out there and take spectacular bumps that nobody in the crowd can do. I sit there and go, wow, that was awesome. Now what? You know, you gotta neuter that a little bit and put it within the storytelling, which I think these guys are going to learn in time.
Yeah. Now, one thing too about a guys here is Paul Roma. I personally think it's a bad rap. I actually really like your tag team with Paul Roma. Do you have any thoughts on your team with Paul Roma?
No, that's been hyped more than anything. When Paul and I were partners, we busted our ass every night to have the best match possible. We were miscast. Plus, Paul was put in that position on the heels of everyone expecting Tully Blanchard, which had a huge history with he and I, obviously. So anything would have been a step down as far as in people's minds. So no, Paul and I get along great. Everything's fine. It was what it was. We went on to have a lot of success with Paul Orndorff as partners. More power to him.
One thing, you and Tully, when you were the Brain Busters, where did this stuff pile driver come from? Was that something people did before? Or?
No, it's just something we came up with for the time.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
We were always evolving.
Yeah.
You know, that was the reason we stayed fresh. We could wrestle. I just saw one of the sheep herders in here, right?
Yeah,
Bushwhackers, yeah. We could wrestle them one night. We could wrestle Demolition the next night and give you an equally entertaining match. So.
Yeah. When you bring back to the fedora, as a kid, I always liked people like that were
Smart
exactly.
asses.
So I was a big fan of yours and Tully, and probably not a lot of kids like one of their favorite wrestlers, Tully Blanchard or Arn Anderson, but those are the guys I really liked.
Was Tully Blanchard?
Yeah.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Well, we always tried to please, and like I said, the reason we were so successful, every night we went through the curtain, we tried to outdo everybody else on the card.
Yeah.
And the benefactors were the fans, and I think they remember it, and now they look back on it and go, you're right, man, you guys busted your ass for us. We owed it to you. You bought a ticket, we're going to give you your money's worth.
I gotta say, you, I don't know if you invented them, but you innovated a lot of my favorite moves at the time. The spine buster, the gourd buster.
That's my move. Gourd buster, my move. I stole the DDT from Jay.
Yeah, that you did a great one though. There's a lot of pop to it.
And a lot of snap.
Yeah.
Some say it was better than Jay's.
Right.
I do.
I don't want to say which one's better. Maybe I'll run into Jake one of these days, but
hey, you got to believe your own. You got to believe your own press, right?
Right. I think just as a move, I like yours better.
I do too.
But the idea that he invented it, it's hard to say one's better.
Oh no, he invented it.
But just as the
I
straight up
stole
move,
it and just modified it.
Yeah.
Okay, well I think they're waiting on me to go to
I
work.
do too. So I had a great time though. I appreciate it.
Nice talking with you.
You as well.